Hi everyone and welcome to today's lesson. Sorry I can't be with you there in person, but hopefully this is the next best thing. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at teenage health risks in the Wigan and Leigh area. So this is our seventh lesson for Unit 5, Promoting Health and Wellbeing. Now the aims and outcomes of the session. The main aim is for you to gain an awareness of the health issues and risks that face teenagers that live in the northwest of England, and specifically we're going to focus on Wigan and Leigh. Now everything we do today is linked in to the assignment that I gave you all last week. So there's three things that we're going to do today. First of all, we're going to do a quick recap, which will involve describing what health promotion is. Then by the end of this session, you should be able to identify at least 3 health risks that are faced by teenagers in the Wigan and Leigh area. And then finally, we're going to assess how these health risks might affect the teenagers. So what sort of impact might they have on the teenagers? Okay, so there are aims and outcomes. Now, you can stop this video at any time you want. If you want to revisit some things that I've just said, or you want to pause it to take some notes, you are more than welcome to stop and start as and when you want to. Okay, so something important about this online tutorial is how it links to the assignment. So this lesson supports assignment 1, which I gave you all last week. Now, I have actually made a few changes to the assignment since last week because I was thinking about what you all said to me in class. And I know that some of you were a bit concerned about writing an essay, and some of you didn't quite get what you needed to do in the assignment. So I've decided that this time you'll not be writing an essay. Instead, it's going to be a report. Now, a report is a lot easier than an essay. So I'll go over that with you next, in our next lesson, which will be after half term. So the important thing to remember here is you're not doing an essay, you're going to do a report instead. And like I said, I'll show you how to do a report after half term. I've also changed the scenario, and instead of focusing on homeless people, you're going to be focusing on teenagers in the northwest of England, mainly Wigan and Leigh. I just felt that these changes make it easier for you to do the assignment, and it's something that you can relate to because you are all teenagers yourselves, so you'll be able to relate to some of these health risks that are faced and the fact that are faced by teenagers, and the fact that you are all from the Wigan and Leigh area as well makes it a bit more of a realistic assignment for you. Good news as well, I've extended the deadline by a week to give you even more time to do it. Now, I'll go through this properly with you after half term, and I don't really want you to be worrying about it for now because we will discuss it more after half term. So this lesson will support you with P1 and some of P2 in the assignment. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go through the assignment scenario. So for the assignment, I want you to imagine that you are volunteering at Wigan Youth Zone. Now, I don't know whether any of you know Wigan Youth Zone, but it's a youth club facility which is in the centre of Wigan. It's right opposite the Wigan campus. So the manager at Wigan Youth Zone is aware that you are currently studying health and social care at college, and has asked you to find out what health risks are faced by teenagers in the Wigan and Leigh area, because the club is considering whether to spend money on a health promotion campaign. So that is the scenario of the assignment. Okay, so that is what your assignment is going to be based on. So the actual task you're going to be doing for the assignment is very similar to what I went through with you last week, but I've worded it a bit differently to make it easier for you to understand. So for the assignment, you've got to write a report for the manager of Wigan Youth Zone. And this report needs to contain the following information. So it needs to include a description of what health promotion means, and that is going towards P1. It also needs to include an overview of 3 different health risks that teenagers might face in the Wigan and Leigh area, and then it needs to consider how these risks might affect the teenagers, and again that supports P1. You also, in the report, need to include a description of 3 different health promotion activities that could help to tackle the health risks facing Wigan and Leigh teenagers. So you're going to describe what health promotion is, and then you're going to give me 3 different health risks that teenagers might face in the Wigan and Leigh area, and then you're going to describe 3 different health promotion activities that have been put in place to try and tackle the health risks that you've given me in this assignment. So that is all supporting P1. Now, for each of your identified health promotion activities, you must then move on to discuss how they benefit the individual and the nation, using examples for each, and that combines P2 and M1. And then finally, you need to add more detail to your discussion to analyse the benefits of health promotion to the individual and the nation. Now, as always, it's important that if you are using evidence, examples, statistics, facts and figures, they must all be referenced. So you need to make a note of where you found your information from. So what the website was called, what the magazine, what the newspaper was called, what the book was called, what the website was called. So all the information that you can get about where it came from, that is what you need to include in your references. Now, I've colour coded these. So the ones in green are the ones that you're going to be working on today. The ones in red we're going to be looking at after half term. So for the rest of this lesson, we are just going to focus on those first 3 green bullet points. That is all we're going to be doing today. Well, I say all, it's quite a lot, but that is what we're going to be doing. So I really don't want you to worry about the ones in red. I don't want you to worry about P2, M1 and D1 just yet. We will focus on that when we come back after half term. Okay, so this is what I want you to do for the rest of this lesson. So now that you've all got a better idea of what you're doing in the assignment, I want you to start working on the P1 parts. Now, I've listed them again below. These were the ones that were in green on the previous slide. So you're going to describe what health promotion is, provide an overview of 3 different health risks that teenagers might face in Wigan and Leigh and how they might affect the teenagers, and then describe 3 different health promotion activities that have been put in place to tackle the health risks that you've just given me an overview of. Okay, right, your task for today then. First of all, you need to open up Word on your computer, create a new Word document and save it as Unit 5 Assignment 1, Teenage Health Promotion. So that's what you need to call your Word document. Make sure that you save it to your computer or whatever device you're using to do your work on. Make sure that you save it. If for whatever reason you are writing it by hand, you still need to do the same. So you still need to call it Unit 5 Assignment 1, Teenage Health Promotion. Obviously, make sure that your name's on your work as well, because when you give me your work at the end of the lesson, I need to know whose work it is. So obviously you need to put your name on it. So once you've done all that, you are then going to answer the questions that are on the next 3 slides and either type or write your answers on the document. Okay, let's now have a look at the questions. Now these questions, if you complete them, then when we come back after half term, we can put all your answers together and then it will start to form the assignment. So everything you're doing now is going to be used in your assignment. So it's a bit like a jigsaw. I'm giving you parts of the puzzle now. You're going to complete them, and then when we come back after half term, we'll put it all together and it will make an assignment. So The first part of the assignment requires you to describe what health promotion means. So please answer this question. So you're going to write this question, write the answer to this question on your Word documents. What is health promotion? So that is the question. Your answer needs to provide a detailed description of what health promotion is. And when you do that, I want you to include the definition of health promotion as well. Now, a really good definition has been given by the World Health Organization, who we abbreviate to the letters WHO or WHO. Now, you can find this very easily by searching on Google for it. So just search World Health Organization's definition of health promotion. And remember, if you're going to include that definition, you need to put a reference in. So you need to tell me the name of the website and the date that you got it off the website. Okay, so that is going to be question 1. Don't start writing your answers yet, because I'm going to go through the next 2 questions, and then at the end of this video, that's when you will start working on this. Okay, so that is question 1. The next question, question 2, is where you start looking at the health risks that teenagers face nowadays. So to do this, I want you to do the following. I want you to list at least 3 different health risks that teenagers might face today. Now, with this, try and focus on teenagers in the Wigan and Leigh area. So I'd like you to do some research and find out some of the health risks that face teenagers today. Now, to help you, I've given you a bit of a head start with this question. So I want you to choose 3 from the following. Now, you don't have to choose these 3, but I've done some research myself, and these are the most common health risks or areas that teenagers face nowadays. So, depression, which falls under mental health. A lot of teenagers now are at risk of experiencing depression. Also, obesity is an issue for teenagers nowadays, with the availability of fast food and social media, meaning that people don't get out as much, and also with lockdown, people aren't exercising as much. But also, obesity can affect anybody, particularly teenagers. So that's an issue that's facing teenagers. Another issue that faces teenagers is STIs, so sexually transmitted infections, and HIV. Now, these normally come from unsafe sexual practices. Another issue that faces teenagers nowadays is HPV. Now, HPV is a collection of different viruses that are linked to cancer. Okay, particularly it affects girls, so it affects teenage girls, but it also can affect teenage boys as well. Smoking, alcohol and drug use, and early or unwanted pregnancies. So you've got there 7 different health risks that teenagers might face nowadays. So I've kind of done that for you. So you're going to choose 3 of those. Now, for the 3 that you choose, I want you to explain what each health risk is. So, what is depression? Why is it a risk to teenagers? And if you were doing obesity, what is obesity? Why are teenagers at risk of becoming obese? And then the same for the 3 that you choose. So you're going to explain what each health risk is. Okay? Once you've done that, I want you to, for each of the 3 health risks that you've chosen, assess how each might affect the teenagers. And what assess means is basically to explain something in a lot of detail. So I'm just going to run through that question again, because this is probably the biggest question that you've got to do. So you're going to choose 3 of those health risks from the list I've put there. For each one that you choose, explain what it is. So, what is depression? Why are teenagers at risk of experiencing depression? And the same for the other 2. Okay, so you're going to explain what each health risk is, and then how it might affect teenagers. So think about how it might affect them physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. So you can make a link here to pies. So physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. So that is question 2. That's the biggest question you've got to be answering. And then finally, for today, question 3. For the next final part of this bit of the assignment, you need to consider different health promotion activities that have been created to try and tackle the health risks that you've just explained in question 2. So this is a nice straightforward one. You've got to carry out some research and try and answer the following questions. So, what health promotion activities have been created to tackle the health risks? So give a description of each one and then explain the aims and purpose of each one. So let's just go back to question 2 a second. Suppose that you chose obesity as one of your health risks. You would then have to find a health promotion activity that has been created to try and combat or to try and tackle obesity amongst children and teenagers. Now, the one that we've looked at in class is Change for Life. So Change for Life is a health promotion campaign that was put in place to try and reduce childhood obesity. So that is a really good example of a health promotion activity that's been created to help tackle that particular health risk. So you do the same for each of the 3 health risks that you've identified. So find a health promotion activity that has been put in place, that's been created to help tackle the health risk. So that is what you are going to be doing today. So for the rest of this lesson and the lesson later today, you are to work on answering the 3 questions. So the lesson at the moment is 12 till 1, and then you're with me again at 3 o'clock till 4:30. This is what you're going to be working on. So at 3 o'clock, I expect to see you all on Teams. I want you to send me a message to let me know that you're all there, and then I will mark you as present on the register. At 4:30, all the work you've completed for today needs to be either uploaded to your folder on Teams or sent to me as a message on Teams. Now, if you've not done it on a Word document, like I said before, if you've written it instead, then you can take a picture of it, as long as I can see evidence of the work that you've done today. Now, please don't worry if you don't answer all the questions today. If you don't, then you should work on it over half term, but I still want to see what work you've done at 4:30 today. So don't think you've got away with it and just turn around and tell me that you're going to work on it over half term, because that's not allowed. Okay? I want to see evidence of the work that you've done at 4:30. Now, if any of you don't get any work to me, I will be bringing the issue up with you after half term. Okay? So it's very important that you complete this work. I have given you some extra time to do the assignment, but it is only an extra week. So those 7 days will fly by. Okay? Right, so that is your task for today. You're going to be focusing on those 3 questions. You can stop watching this video once I've ended it, and then you can rewind it back and have another look over it if you want, or you can just make a start on it. I'm going to be available on Teams, and I'm going to be contacting you all individually just to see how you're getting on. But you can contact me anytime you want during our normal lesson times. Okay? Right. Like I said, if you've got any questions, just let me know on Teams. If not, I expect to see your work at 4:30, and I will speak to you all again at certain points throughout the day. All right, good luck with your work, everybody. And don't forget, next week is half term, so have a fantastic half term break as well. Speak to you all soon. Bye.